Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're looking at what might be a true unicorn, the 2026 Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing. You know, this isn't just another car, it's a statement. And honestly, it's quite possibly the last and greatest American performance sedan of its kind. Instead of building up to the end, we're going to start right there with the reviewer's final powerful thought. This one sentence just perfectly captures that intense, almost gut-level reaction this car gets out of you, and it really sets the stage for everything that makes it so unbelievably special. So what makes this car an endangered species? Well, it's pretty simple. We are in an era that is just rocketing towards electric power. And in that world, this combination, a giant supercharged V8 engine with a real 3-pedal manual gearbox, all in a 4-door sedan, well, that's something you just don't see anymore. It's disappearing. Okay, let's talk about the heart of this beast. What we're looking at here is a supercharged 6.2-liter V8. And this is not some quiet, tame, refined engine. No. This is old-school American muscle, a roaring, fire-breathing powerhouse that, when you connect it to a 6-speed manual, feels like the grand finale for an entire era of driving. All right, so before we get into the feel, the drama of actually driving this thing, let's ground ourselves in the hard data for a second. These are the raw, objective numbers that make the Blackwing an absolute titan on paper. Let's start with a big one. 668 horsepower. I mean, just let that sink in. To put that into perspective, that is more power than a lot of dedicated supercars. This is the number that translates to just mind-bending speed when you've got an open road. And backing up all that horsepower is an almost identical number, 659 pound-feet of torque. They say horsepower is how fast you hit the wall, but torque is how far you take the wall with you. This is the number that gives you that instant, brutal shove in your back the second you even think about touching the gas pedal. And for all the purists out there, this is the most important number of all, 6. As in a 6-speed manual transmission. This means you are in direct mechanical control of every single one of those horses. It's the one thing that truly separates an engaging driver's car from just another fast appliance. Now, here's what makes this car so completely fascinating. It's this duality. It's basically a bottle of 2 different identities living in one car. You've got this hardcore track machine, but it's wrapped up in a surprisingly comfortable, plush luxury package. And you can see this contrast everywhere you look. From the outside, it is pure, functional aggression. All that carbon fiber you see, it's not just for looks, that's for real downforce at speed. It sits on these ultra-sticky Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires, with massive brakes peeking out from behind the wheels. This thing absolutely screams that it belongs on a racetrack. But then, you open the door, and it's a completely different world. All of a sudden, you're sitting in a high-end luxury sedan. You've got soft-touch materials everywhere, Alcantara, a premium headliner, and get this, power-adjustable massage seats. They even use special acoustic insulating glass to keep the cabin quiet. It is a true Jekyll and Hyde machine. So here's the crucial question, right? How do these 2 totally different personalities actually come together on the road? What is it really like to drive a car with this much power, this much luxury, and a manual transmission tying it all together? Well, that manual gearbox is really the heart of the whole experience, and it's this mix of challenge and reward. The reviewer mentioned the clutch has a really sharp kind of on or off bite point that takes some getting used to. He even admitted he stalled it a couple of times. But the shifter itself, oh, that's just mechanical perfection. It's smooth, it's precise, and it has that satisfying thunk as it slots right into each gear. And when you finally get it right, when you master that clutch, and you finally unleash that engine, the experience is just, it's overwhelming. You could hear it in the reviewer's voice. He just kept saying, "What a monster," because there's really no other word for that level of raw, untamed performance. And this really shows you that core duality perfectly. In its normal mode with that quiet glass and those comfy seats, it's a surprisingly civilized commuter car. But you press one button on the steering wheel, that V-mode button, and it instantly transforms. Everything gets louder, sharper, more aggressive. It becomes the fire-breathing monster. So what's the final verdict then? All of this information, it all builds up to a surprising conclusion about what this car is really for. And here's the twist. Despite this 668 horsepower, despite its track weapon credentials, the reviewer's final takeaway was that this would be the ultimate car to drive every single day. The comfort, those massage seats, its quiet and civilized nature, it all makes it a perfect, if slightly insane, daily companion. Of course, a unique blend of supercar performance and luxury sedan comfort, yeah, that doesn't come cheap. The model that was reviewed, loaded up with all the carbon fiber and performance goodies, rings the bell at just under $140,000. And that leaves us with one last kind of provocative thought. In a world that is moving on from big V8s, in a world that's leaving manual transmissions behind, are we looking at the absolute peak? Is this the last, best, and most perfect super sedan of its kind that we will ever get to see?